Guys, welcome back to Relaxed Running. I am Tyson, and today I'm going to take you through a 10-minute warm-up routine that you can apply before any race so that your legs, your mind, your body are ready to go when that gun goes off. Okay, so you've rocked up to the location of your race. What happens now? Well, you get out of the car, you put your bags down, and about 40 minutes before your race starts, you're going to head out just for a very slow jog. The idea there with this 5 or 6 minute jog is to simply get that blood pumping around the body. The idea is just, you know, that feeling you get when you first get out of bed in the morning, everything's a little bit sore, everything's a little bit, maybe a bit tense. The same's true before a race. You want to be feeling as fresh and as free as you possibly can when that gun goes off. So you've put your bags down, head out for a very slow jog. You're not trying to be a hero here. This is simply to get that blood flowing, to get the things feeling a little bit looser and a little bit freer, and just get yourself in that headspace for what's about to go down. You're there to run, you're there to race, but we don't just go from 0 to 100. We gradually build up the intensity so that when that gun goes, we're warmed up, we're free, and we're ready to run fast. So you've finished your 5 or 6 minute warm-up jog. You should still have about 30 minutes before it's race time. What do we do now? Obviously, we want to extend that warm-up. We want to make sure that things are feeling super free. So I'm going to take you through a couple of minutes warm-up routine here with a few stretches, which is going to make sure your hips, your hamstrings, your calves are all feeling free and supple. Also show you a couple of upper body movements just to make sure that you are free up top, to make sure that when you're on the start line, your body's feeling as good as it possibly can. One of the best drills that you can do is this variation of a hip opener. So with this exercise that you can see right here, I've got my hand on a rail and I'm simply swinging my leg back and forth. You're not trying to overextend how far you're going here. You're simply trying to open up those hammies and the top of the quads. This is going to make sure that when you're taking strides, you're feeling free, you're feeling loose, you're feeling confident, and you don't have anything in the back of your mind which is making you think, oh crap, maybe I haven't quite warmed up my hips or my body as well as I should have. Once you've done this particular variation, you're just going to switch the way that you're standing and just go to some side to side kicks. So once again, you're not trying to do anything too fancy. It's just from left to right. You're not trying to overextend and be a hero with how far you can get your legs around to each side. You're simply trying to open up those hip joints a little bit, because obviously this is going to be a part of your body which is going to be heavily relied upon in the race that you are taking part in. Once you've done that particular exercise, you might want to further add to it by some simple hip rotations here. This is just going to open up those hips to an even greater extent. So simply anti-clockwise for 5 twists and then clockwise for the other 5. Once you've done that, you might want to hit a couple of stationary exercises. I tend to hit my calves, my hamstrings, my quads, and then just do a few upper body extensions. So what you can see here is I'm just targeting my quads with a little bit more of an active stretch, just to get that blood flowing, to get those calves stretched out and just feeling nice and loose. You don't want to go into a race with any tight feelings through too much of your body. Naturally, you're going to have a couple of little bits of tightness from time to time. You can't avoid that, but to the best of our ability, we try and eliminate it where we can. Once you've worked on your calves, you might want to go through a couple of hamstring variations. There's really no black and white rules as to what is the perfect stretch in these situations. You can simply go through a couple of your favorites if you have them. Otherwise, these ones that I'm showing you on the screen are some really good options as well. They're your classics. They're going to just make sure they target that hamstring, which is going right into your glutes there and down through the back of your knees into your calves a little more. Obviously, once your calves are starting to feel a little bit more freed up, your hamstrings are starting to feel a little bit more freed up, your body's starting to feel good because you've already done that warm-up jog, you're starting to feel pretty confident about the race that you're about to step into. The final one that I like to target with my legs is my quads. Once again, there's a few classic variations of this stretch, but the ones that I'm showing you here are a couple of favorites. So just simply putting your heel up towards your bum and pulling it back as far as you're confident to do so is going to really open up the top of those quads and into the groins. And finally, you just want to loosen up your upper body. You want to make sure that your arms are feeling as free as possible. So some simple arm swings back and forth are a really helpful way just to open up the inside of that shoulder. A couple of little twists just to target any little bits of tightness is also a good way. And if you want to just make sure your shoulders and your neck are nice and comfortable, just a couple of simple head rotations is a really good way to finish your stretching routine. Right now your body's feeling relatively warm. As I said, you've done your warm-up jog, you've done your stretching routine. Now it's time just to target a couple of pre-race